after 4 months of doing all filming and editing, everything, because I didn't know how to do a thing. We were on Kelly Clarkson. We were on the Today Show. We were on all these news programs, Fox News, all this stuff, right? Local as well as national. She got, of course, she was in every video, every interview. It was all about her because she's the one who got me in it. She also has a Rubicon in the driveway when she turned 16. So that's her prize. Yeah. But then she's kind of said, hey, I want to be a kid. Or she was, I got cheerleading. I'm like, no, you got to film.
Hey, before we get cooking here, no pun intended, with Cooking with Darryl, the big game is here, and there's no better time to get out to some games than with the help of Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You know how much we love Game Time. Now with their brand new Game Time Picks feature, they're making it even easier to get to a game. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Philly is looking to knock off Kansas City and New Orleans, and you've got to get your tickets with Game Time.
It's the only place to get them.
It's the only place.
Only place to get them. So this is the best. And then, like, we are coming into a pretty good time of year with the NCAA tournaments coming. So there's sites all over the country. No matter where you are, get on Game Time. Either see your favorite team or be a neutral and just be there all day.
Yeah, I saw tickets on Game Time to the big game for like $3,800-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're looking to go, make sure you're checking out Game Time and check out that GT Picks feature. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DOGWALK for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. All right, bang, welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Today I am joined by an in-studio guest. He's another Northwest Side guy. I'm excited to have him in. Cooking influencer extraordinaire, Cooking with Darryl. Darryl, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eddie. Appreciate you having me out.
Dude, I'm excited to have you. Your videos are great. This is an infectious cooking personality. And once I heard you were from my neck of the woods, well, your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
You're the elder statesman. So I was fired up to have you in.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm shocked that finally meet someone that grew up in my hood, went to the same school.
Yeah.
And that's pretty rare.
That is.
Grammar school that I went to, and then a high school nearby is pretty cool.
Yep, it's still kicking too. St. Francis boys are still rolling over there. And then you went to Cross, I went to St. Pat's. So a little bit of a difference there. But it's still awesome either way. So all right, let's start at the beginning here. How did this all start? Or actually, we'll start here.
Yeah.
When did you start cooking? Like when did you start getting in the kitchen?
So probably started cooking as a kid. You know, my dad, we'd go to St. Francis Borgia. We'd go to church every Sunday. My dad sold papers right outside the church there, and we'd come home and he'd make Sunday breakfast for us. And so I'd watch him, and then, you know, a couple months in, I'd be like, you know, can I crack the egg? Can I flip it? Can I do this? So I kind of got into cooking way back as a kid. And then come college, you know, I started, of course, we had to cook on our own. So I started thinking of different recipes, simple stuff, but I kind of got into cooking. And then when I started living on my own, same thing. I just really enjoyed getting in the kitchen and thinking of new things and making a home-cooked dinner or meal, any meal. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where it all started. And I, you know, even told people that when I was retiring that, you know, they're all like, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to go take some cooking classes. I never did that, and this happened. So.
No shit. Yeah. So just a natural curiosity as a kid. You're flipping an egg. You're just seeing your dad do it. Where'd you go to college?
I went to Northern Illinois.
Oh, you went to Northern.
Yeah.
So were you just like the guy on the grill every time there for the college bar?
Yeah, but there weren't really many grills. You know, think about it. I'm a lot older than you, so it was, you know, we might have had some old beat up grill that we grilled on, but it was mostly in the kitchen or flipping burgers or stuff like that.
Yeah. So. Okay. So it's just a natural love of cooking.
Yeah.
So then we could get into my last question. When did it become a thing when someone threw a camera in your face and was like, hey, do your thing, just let me film it?
Yeah. So it all started with me, I have twins. They're now 23, but they were going away to college to ASU. So it was right during COVID, lockdown. Everyone was sitting at home doing nothing. Kids were studying at home, so-called. And my buddy and I decided to drive out to Arizona and drop off one of my kids' cars. So they had a vehicle out there. And on the way, we, you know, got into, you know, he was huge into TikTok. I never heard of it. And so we played some golf along the way, had some great dinners, got down there. Our wives met us. And at that same time, you know, I started getting into the rabbit hole, right? And you get sucked in. And so we get home from that trip, and my youngest daughter at the time was 13, and she's now 17, said, hey, Dad, I see you're on TikTok. We should start a channel. You love cooking. And I'm like, no, I'm not on any social media. I was on no social media. The only social media I was on was LinkedIn because Microsoft owned them, and I worked for Microsoft. And, not at the time, but prior to that.
And this was 2020, you said?
2020 is when all this started, yeah. And so...
How old were you at the time?
I was 53.
Okay.
No, wait. What am I? Shit. 50. I was 54.
Okay, 54. Gotcha.
Yeah. So my daughter kind of pleaded, hey, let's go do this. It'd be fun. And at the time, if you think about TikTok 4 years ago, there were very few food creators. It was a lot of dancing, right? Kids dancing.
Yeah.
So I fought her on it and kept saying no. And then she went upstairs and kind of looked over, and she said, and I remember she's the last child home. She said, I just thought it'd be something you and I can do together.
Oh,
get your ass down here.
Wow.
I said, well, you gotta think, you gotta do everything, because I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So she thought of the name Cooking with Darryl. She was the creator on the app. I said, you got to film, you got to edit, I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we filmed something that night. I think my first video was broccoli stir fry, like a steak stir fry, broccoli and steak stir fry. And we got 9 followers, and they were all her friends. So I'm like, okay. And it was fun. We script nothing. And to this day, I have never scripted a video.
I like that. That's very similar to us.
Yep. Kaylin comes over and she goes, what are we making? I go, we're making this. And then we just start.
Yeah.
And I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Everything's right there ad hoc. So the second video was a Sunday. I woke up and my kids love chili. They love beanless chili, not kind of the way I like it, but they just don't like the beans. And when we make it, I get this massive pot because they want me to freeze and vacuum seal individual bags and freeze them, and they eat them after cheerleading practice after school.
Yeah.
And so I make enough, like 10 pounds of meat I will make in this big chili pot. So I kind of got her up. I go, hey, the Bears are playing today. I threw on my Urlacher jersey and I just, of course, with my beer in hand, start making, filming. And then I went to my buddy's house to go watch the game and literally leave the house. And she's like, Dad, I just posted it. We got 3,000 views. And then she hung up. And then she calls back seconds later. We're at 10,000. And then we're at 20,000. And it just kept going. And that day, that video did 4 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was only the second video?
That was the second video.
Second video, chili.
Yeah. And my kids were at college and they saw it come up on their feed.
No shit.
And they're like, you got to do this 3 or 4 days a week. I go, I don't have to do anything.
Take it easy. This is because I want to spend time with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had no idea you could monetize this or anything.
Yeah.
To me, it was just fun. And I'm like, wow. And I will say that video, more than half the comments were haters.
Yeah, okay.
Because, I had a big pot. It still had the label on the side.
Beans.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where's the beans?
Yeah.
And, you still got the label on the side. I'm triggered by looking at the label of the pot.
Oh.
And So anyway, everything that you can go wrong, I did, And I then found out about 6 months later that, you got to embrace those haters. They really drive your channel.
Yeah.
So, now I don't, I engage with them, and I do that all the time. But anyway, that was the first video that went crazy. And then I think 6 videos later, my family loves fried rice. I did fried rice outside and it did 38 million views.
Wow.
So that was kind of the beginning.
Yeah. And so at the time, so you're 54, you mentioned Microsoft. So go through you went to Northern, then what was your
So I went to Northern, and then had a couple jobs, starting out of school like everyone does, some that weren't great. But then I landed with SmithKline Beecham, which now is GlaxoSmithKline. At the time they were just SmithKline Beecham. I was working there for 2.5 years, just a sales guy. And my boss left. He lived in Rockford. And he went to Disney. And within a month, he called me and he goes, you got to come here. And he brought me to Disney to work for Buena Vista Home Entertainment, which was the studio arm of Disney that when a movie leaves the theater and goes to home video, we sell to, at the time, when there was a video store in every corner and Blockbuster in Hollywood and all the grocery stores carried video. My team, I was hired to run a region, and then probably within a year or two, I got promoted to to manage the country and manage the team that sold videos to video stores.
Wow.
So I did that for 8 years. That was awesome. You know, it was the heyday of Disney, you know, when movies like The Lion King were first coming out.
Yeah.
They owned Miramax. So like Pulp Fiction was out and Scream and all these great big movies that came out. And, you know, we were able to go to premieres, and it was, you know, as a 28-year-old kid into my low 30s, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Was it the Kevin Smith movies?
Oh yeah.
Miramax
Clerks
too. Yeah.
Clerks.
That was a huge success. Right?
Huge success.
Yeah.
God,
I could talk to you for an hour about just this.
Oh yeah. I mean, Sling Blade with Billy Bob Thornton, got to meet him. You know, what was it? Swingers.
Okay. Yeah.
We had the entire staff at an LA bar, got to meet them all, you know, Vince Vaughn when he was nothing.
Yeah.
You know, have a drink with him. It was very cool.
That's unbunbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a cool time. And then what happened is, so this is now in the 90s, in the 90s, you started seeing, you know, the whole digital revolution coming along. You know, the beta thing was fighting with VHS, and then it got to be where streaming came on. And you started seeing, you know, different streaming platforms like Comcast said, hey, guess what? You can go and buy a movie and stream it and not go rent it. So you started seeing that coming and reading about it. Yeah. The president of my division at the time left to go to Microsoft. And he called me up and said, you need to come and interview here. And I was not a gamer. Believe it or not, I'm still not. And I went there because they were forming this new little startup called Xbox.
Oh,
so,
look at that.
Yeah. So I went there to interview.
What year is this about?
This is in 99.
Okay. So movie stores are still still doing well.
Still going.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is in 99. At the same time, the guy who took over as president for my buddy, who eventually, I'll tell you his name because eventually he became the CEO of Disney, is Bob Chapek.
No shit.
And Bob Chapek and I were really good buddies. And so he called me and he goes, don't leave. I got this position. You're going to run everything. You could do it from Chicago. You can have grocery stores. You can have mass merchant. You can have distributors, everything. And you could do it from Chicago. You don't have to move. So I went back there and I go, okay, I'm going to stay. And then that's when Microsoft called. I went in for an interview just to see what it was all about. And it was actually my wife who said, listen, you've been doing this for 8 years, kind of see the writing on the wall. You were kind of bored, you know, looking for stuff to do. Why don't you go try this thing at Microsoft? And I did it. And it was a year before it launched. Had to hire the team to go sell it into retail. And 15 years later, within a couple of years, I was VP of sales for the US and ran all of retail for Xbox. And then everything that came consumer. So Surface and, mice and keyboards and gaming and all that.
Wow.
So
some
it's pretty
big
cool.
jobs. Dude.
Yeah, it's a big job.
That's some big jobs.
Yeah.
Was it, I got to ask too, what was the most in-demand movie that these movie stores wanted?
Oh, wow. Whenever one of the classics came out, right, they just went crazy. But I remember, some of the biggest ones, Pulp Fiction was just classic.
Yeah.
Right? That thing went crazy.
Are you a big movie guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Con Air, some of those big ones, those action ones, The Rock, those were massive.
Yeah.
And so those were big ones that a lot of the movie stores wanted.
They're like, Darryl, we want a whole aisle of The Rock.
But the funny thing is that really wasn't our job because that was easy. The job was, hey, we got this foreign film that's subtitled. You need to sell that in.
Yeah, give us like just one little shelf in the corner.
I want 3. Give me 3.
Yeah, that's it.
And we got in arguments over getting 3.
Dude, that's awesome.
So,
that was almost like Like as a kid, that was like my dream high school job was to work at Blockbuster. So cool.
Exactly.
Like
it
I
was
just,
cool.
yeah, I don't think I don't know. Like Kaylin, or your daughters, I don't know if they appreciate it, right?
No, well, they don't know what it was.
They don't know.
They have no idea.
It was quite
that you had to go to some place and look around and browse. The browsing was fun.
Yes.
There
was a Blockbuster on Harlem when you were still in the neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
Or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right by the hip, right?
Yep. You're right there. Yep. Right there. Damn.
So that was cool. But then the Xbox thing was a whole different level.
Was that like people were like, I don't know, man. Like PlayStation got the market pretty covered. You know?
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, you had Nintendo and PlayStation. I think it was about a 70-30 split of Nintendo was 30, Sony was PlayStation 1 was out, and it was 70% of the market. And I remember going into places like Best Buy and talking to their VP about, hey, we got this new product coming out, and they're like, you guys don't know how to make hardware. You guys are a software company.
Yeah.
And they would take it only because of the relationship across Windows, right? So you had Windows and Office and all these other products that were carried at every store except GameStop was the only real gamer store. But everyone else between Walmart and Target and Best Buy and at the time Circuit City and all those guys, everyone, Toys R Us was huge in the business, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Those two platforms, everyone questioned it. Nobody said, this is a slam dunk. Nobody.
Huh.
So we had to prove ourselves.
Were you on the team? Like, did you ever give a note like about those controllers of the first generation?
Oh, yeah. The massive ones.
Everyone always talks about those.
The Duke, we call them, the code name was Duke. Yeah. And they're massive.
Yeah, they were huge.
I still have them because
do you have like an original one or something?
Well, here's the cool thing. Yeah. So shortly after the launch, Bill Gates was still at the company, still as CEO. He might have been chairman, not CEO. I think Ballmer took over then. But anyone who worked on the business, who was an integral part of the launch of Xbox, received an original Xbox that was actually translucent, so you can see through it. With Bill signed the whatever that jewel's called, with the big X on the front.
Yeah.
So he signed it, and you got the whole machine with the controllers, everything. So I have that kind of in a box in my basement showcased.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool.
That's cool. Bring that to Pawn Stars. I'll be That's sick.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, they learned a lot. I mean, again, you had the 3 red rings of light of death that came out, and we had to deal with that issue. So, you got a software company getting into the hardware space. We didn't have preferential pricing. I mean, people don't know this, but that first Xbox lost $4 billion.
Really?
To the company. Yeah.
Just because people weren't buying it?
No. What it cost us to make it. An Xbox and the console business in general is the razor blade.
Yeah.
You buy the box, you buy the razor, you make no money. You lose money. It's the blades. So with us, that's why we had our own gaming studio, because you make money on the games. So like when Halo came out, right? You make all your money on Halo, Gears of War, Forza, all those games, but you lose on the box. So we never made a penny on the box, the whole first one. And if I'm not mistaken, I think 360 took 5 years to break even.
Really? Now, do you see the generation now and be like, you guys don't know how good you have it?
Oh, yeah.
Because now with these Fortnites, you could just keep spending money to keep updating the game.
Well, and now there are no games.
Yeah.
It's all vapor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you go in and download it. And so this is where the power of Xbox, and where I think they really won, and I'll never forget this being in some of these early meetings before we launched, is, everyone always said, why do you have an Ethernet port on the back of an Xbox? And I'm think about the time. This was 2001.
Yeah.
And everyone's going, why do you have an Ethernet cable or a port? And they said, because online gaming is the future. And this is when, you're still dial up, and I mean, it was not fast, right? And so that's why when Live came out and the gaming, Xbox won that entire platform of live gaming. And that's where they were able to say, GameStop and all these other retailers, guess what? We're going to put the game, we're going to sell you a game, but we're going to put it online where a consumer can go download it.
Yeah.
And that's just pure profit.
Yeah.
to Microsoft.
It's crazy how much
Yeah.
everything has changed. Hey guys, Blue Chew is putting its money where its mouth is and offering you a free month. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. We can all relate to wanting to feel more confident, especially in the bedroom, and Blue Chew can help. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah, so that was pretty brilliant of them to think of that and to put that on there that early when no one was thinking about that.
Yeah, that really
so,
was.
but to your point earlier on what was it like selling it in? I mean, I got friends of mine that would come over, and great story is one of my best buddies lives over where we grew up. And he's like, oh God, I want to buy it for one of my kids. In fact, you even know the kid. You know Nicky Smiggs, right?
Yeah.
So Nicky Smiggs, his dad and I grew up together.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, yeah.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, huh?
So Nicky was probably a teenager, and his parents were over at the house, and they're like, I know you work for Xbox, but God, I don't think we can get him one. All his friends have PlayStations. I go, listen, do what you want, but I'm telling you, it's going to be hot. And they bought one for him. And I remember them saying, yeah, all their friends have PlayStations. And within a year, all the friends went to Xbox.
Really?
So they were like, great move we made. And then they became an Xbox family.
That's so funny because that's a big thing, right? I remember when, I don't know how old I was, but it was when the iPod was huge, right?
Oh, yeah.
And somebody talked my dad into, I don't know why, I don't know. He bought the line, kind of like the Smiggs family.
Yeah.
But instead, my dad got me the Dell Pocket DJ instead of the iPod. My story is not as great as that one. The Xbox went on to be something, not the Dell Pocket DJ. So, but it's a risk as a kid, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me. You don't want to grow up in my family with my kids who had to have a Windows phone, not an iPhone, and a Zune.
Oh, Zune. Yep, I do remember Zune. Yep.
So I was on the team. There was a team of like 30 people that were sequestered at Microsoft. You had to do your normal job, but this was a side project.
Yeah.
It was Zune. And it was all behind scenes. No one knew about it. You had to sign all these NDAs and everything. And it was going to take over the iPod.
Wow. Yeah. But Zune was kind of nice, though.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Little too late.
Yeah.
And then the phone kind of took over everything.
Everything.
Right. So
they don't even make them anymore, right?
Oh, no.
iPods? Yeah. Those are.
Oh, no.
Yeah, those are just dead.
No.
Is there, and how many kids do you have?
I got 3 twins and then a 17-year-old.
And it was all like the Windows phones were that was.
Oh, they had to. They're like, can we please get an iPhone? I go, no. I work for Microsoft. You got to have a Windows phone. They were so mad because they couldn't get onto, Snapper Chatter and all that stuff because it was like third-party apps. You couldn't get the actual app. You couldn't get Facebook. You couldn't get any of them. And they had to go to school with their friends with a Windows phone. And it was only my last year at Microsoft, which was 2016, that Windows Phone was done. And they let iPhones or Android, whichever one you wanted, you can buy.
Oh, really? Okay. So what year was that?
2016.
2016. Wow.
Yeah. So that's when my kids became liberated.
Your kids just didn't know the trick back then. They just got to say, Dad, I think we could spend more time together with an iPhone.
Exactly.
And he would have switched.
Exactly.
And he would have switched. Okay, so then are you still with Microsoft?
No. I left in 16. Just did nothing for a year, kind of retired.
Yeah.
But I was at the time 49.
Uh-huh.
So is that right? 49, 50? Yeah, something like that, 50 maybe?
Yeah.
And so I started consulting, and then I worked for a company after consulting for them for about 6 months. They were a promotional company out of the UK, and they started selling, or I brought them Microsoft as a global account. Mm-hmm. So I still knew everyone there and at the high levels. So I signed up Microsoft to a global account for them, and then started talking to all my buddies who were still at Microsoft, and they're like, yeah, go work for that company. We can do stuff with you. And so I was there for 7 years.
Wow.
But out of the UK, so I worked here and had a whole team here. Kind of my soft landing of a career, take it. Mm-hmm. And then this started in 2020, And that's when I would, work during because it was UK, the hours, were a lot earlier in the day. So all afternoons I would cook and do this on the side until this became a real business that now this is all I do.
And then you left there around 2023?
I left there a year ago. December is when I officially kind of retired. I'm still somewhat consulting with them, but I'm not working for them.
Not the same. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, what a life, Darryl.
Yeah, it's been good.
What a life.
Very fortunate.
That's good for you. How about a Borgia guy, too?
That's right.
Good for you.
Northwest side kid.
That's right. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
By the way, I don't mean to keep bringing up the Northwest side, but Toys R Us is back in the hip. It's like the only Toys R Us.
One store? It's got to be
it's the only store in the nation, I think.
Wow.
There might be like a couple more popping up now, but yeah, it's there. It's kind of unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be brought
now Rolling Stones is still there.
Still there, yeah.
Come on.
It's still there, yep.
What are they selling? Well, I guess
it beats me. Beats me.
Weed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Out of the back, yeah. Maybe. But it beats me, but it's still rolling.
Wow.
Yeah, it's still
That's
going.
crazy.
Yeah. So full time now, like fully like LLC, like the Cooking with Darryl company.
So what happened is right when I started and I saw this thing gaining momentum, again, still didn't have any idea about monetization, that I could make a business out of it. But I immediately did an LLC. A great story. Again, another Holy Cross kid, buddy of mine I still hang with, called me and he says, you need a tagline. You need to say something. You keep saying something different. And this was probably 6 to 10 videos in. And he was right. Like I'd take a bite and whatever came to my mind, like I said, I never script anything is what I would say. And I should go back, Kaylin, we should go back and look to see which video it was. But one of them, I'm like, are you kidding me? And I posted it because it used to be I would make a video that night for dinner and post it. That's how I worked. Now we've got 3-4 weeks worth of content, locked that we can post whenever. And if I don't want to do anything for a couple of weeks, I don't do anything. So at the time, he literally called me up right after I posted it and he said, that's it. I go, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? And I did it with the R and then the U and then kidding me. And I got that trademarked also. That's awesome. It's on my merch. It's on my salt and pepper grinders. It's on my aerator. It's on all my merch I wear. So then I did that, which was pretty early on. And then people started reaching out. Bacon Up was like, other than Roback, Bacon Up was the first one to kind of come out and actually want to like work with me and pay me to use their product.
Well, you're like gigantic now, right? Like what's your followers on everything? Are you like...
So I'm really close to 3 million. So 2.9 on TikTok and almost 500,000 on Instagram and 40 something on YouTube.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is there, to go back one more time, are you still like a diehard Microsoft fan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got still a ton of friends there.
You're still like an Xbox guy?
Oh, well, I'm really not. If I've played 10 hours of gaming, I joke with people who say, oh my God, you guys had Halo. I never got out of the elevator in the opening scene of Halo. I just couldn't do it. But my son loves it and he plays with all his friends. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, we had Xboxes throughout the house.
Okay.
For sure.
That's great. And did the market ever, it's
become a Sony market.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're doing well enough.
Yeah, they're doing well. I think it's the whole online gaming.
Yeah.
Right? The box now, I don't even know if the new boxes even have disk drives. I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I think they're all streaming.
I could see that.
So there is, I don't believe they're the new ones, or if some of the new ones don't have any disk drive at all.
Yeah. It didn't go the way of Dreamcast.
That's right.
So it's still around.
It's still profitable.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's owning the living room. That was the vision, and they accomplished that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is cool.
So then the videos, you said the next one hit, what, it was 32 million when you made fried rice?
38, yeah.
38. Then it was just a consistent build from there.
Yeah, it really went, I would say for the first year and a half, the hockey stick was straight up. I just kept surpassing, 1 million, 1.5, 2 million, all happened within months of each other. I hit 1 million on TikTok, I think in 3 months of getting on or less than that. So now the good news is my Instagram's growing good. YouTube's growing. TikTok is still there's a whole different audience on TikTok than there is on Instagram, right? I mean, if I had to prioritize it too, everyone's like, well, what are you going to do if it goes away? I'm like, whatever. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I have a really good following on Instagram and you just have probably a little more mature people on Instagram for some reason. A lot of the kids and haters are still on TikTok, which is fine. Like I said, I embrace them. I go back and forth with some of them. People that get utterly rude or wrong, I block them.
Yeah.
So
get them out of here.
yeah, get them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Get them out. When they start talking about my mom in bad ways,
Yeah.
you know, I don't go for that.
Can't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's just online.
Yeah,
Sucks,
exactly.
but, yeah.
Exactly. And I will tell you and Nikki Smiggs actually taught me this early on. He was over probably a week or two into me filming and said, embrace the haters. And he's right. And you know, they do drive your channel. So I read every comment, comment I read. Kaylin does a ton of the editing and posting and deals. You know, she's on every call with my partners. But when it comes to comments, that's what I do my first couple hours every morning with my coffee.
You're just going through them?
I go through all the comments.
Wow, look at that. What did you read? The Sun Times and the TikTok comments?
Well, listen, it's good marketing, right?
Yeah,
you got to engage with your audience.
For sure.
And I feel if I stop doing it, people won't comment. And I want people to comment.
Yeah.
And again, 90% are great. And even the 10% that aren't, when you kill them with kindness, where they kind of look at your comment and go, God, is he burning me or is he being nice?
Yeah.
That's what I try to do. 90% of them come back and they say, I was just joking, man. I love your channel.
Yeah.
They
But
just
it's
want
still
me to
like,
reply.
why'd
you do it?
Why be a dick?
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't, and cooking social media is it's a different beast.
Oh yeah. It's everybody now.
Yeah, I know. It's everyone, and people always think that they got a way that's better. People always say you missed this step, it's a grinder.
It is.
For sure.
It is a grind. The hardest part for me is thinking of what to cook.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've got over 800 videos posted already, and I mean, there's not many different ways to make a smash burger, right?
Yeah.
Although it feels like I can post a smash burger every month and get over 1 million views.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It's just smash burger hits that algorithm.
It's just something about that and fried rice and kind of the silly things. I can post the most intricate, beef Wellington that I was so proud of, and it gets like 100,000 views. I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
That was awesome. It took me a long time to do it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy what the algorithm does.
So you said it was like a year in when Roback and like Baking Up kind of hit.
Oh, no. Roback was the first one probably. So I started at the end of October was my first video, and Christmas was when I talked to him. So 2-3 months in was Roback. Baking Up was probably in March of that year, the next year. And I just re-upped for 2025 with them for my 4th year. So they've been just great partners. I mean, all those 4 or 5 I talk about were phenomenal.
So was that the moment when you realized like, oh, I really have something?
Yeah.
When like these corporate sponsors wanted to jump
and when they stayed with me.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I know how much Roback I sell for them, right? Just through my link in bio. I know what I've done for Baking Up. I know what I've done for the Weber Slate. I know because one, I'm now on my 3rd year with 3rd or 4th year with most of them. And if I'm a brand, if it's not working,
you're backing out.
You're done.
So your retention's good.
Yeah. So I feel pretty good about it. I don't love, the sell job. I try to make it more authentic and not a sell job, but I almost think at this point, I mean, do people really think I'm selling Roback? I just wear it almost 95% of my videos.
Because it's awesome.
It's awesome stuff. And the thing is I don't need to go sell it. People go, well, I love that hoodie. Where'd you get it?
Roback.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so it's just the impressions. Same thing with the Weber, same thing with Baking Up, same thing with, Morton Salt, all those guys. It just becomes, even when I'm not on deal with them, which like Morton's the one where it's like it's a half a year or 3/4 of a year. It's not the full year. I still use their stuff when I'm not on. I don't care. It's part of being a good partner.
It's a genuine, partnership.
Exactly. And that's what I want. I can get a bunch of one-off deals, Body Armor can come in and say, do a video for me. I could do 1 or 2. Great. That's a sell job. I want it where I can get those 5-7 partners that I don't need to do these one-offs.
Yeah.
But some of the one-offs are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that's why I do them. And if I use the product, why not?
Yeah, no, I get it for sure, because I'm in this similar business where it's easier to sell stuff that you like.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And if people really knew how many partners I pass on weekly that reach out and say, I've got this product, and I'm like, nope.
Oh.
One, it might compete with the meat company I use. It might compete with Bacon Up, like it might be an oil. I just don't do it. Or it might be a product I just don't use or I don't like. I just won't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them throw a lot of money at you.
I bet.
And it's just, to me, I'm going to do products I like, products I use. If it's a new product I never tried, I always try it first to see if I'm going to like it before I go on and promote it.
So that's when you realize it was working, when people started jumping in, and not only jumping in, but staying with you. So when's the time when you had the conversation in the car and you look over at your daughter and you're like, hey, this was a good idea. You were right.
Trust me, we've had that. She was in 8th grade when it started.
Oh my
and
gosh.
she's going to ASU next year, right, as a freshman.
Man.
So she, after 4 months of doing all filming and editing, everything, because I didn't know how to do a thing. We were on Kelly Clarkson. We were on the Today Show. We were on all these news programs, Fox News, all this stuff, right? Local as well as national. She got, of course, she was in every video, every interview. It was all about her because she's the one who got me in it. She also has a Rubicon in the driveway when she turned 16. So that's her prize. Yeah. But then she's kind of said, hey, I want to be a kid. Or she was, I got cheerleading. I'm like, no, you got to film.
Yeah, and so is she the one that's a twin?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's a good thing, I think, because if the other, I feel like she'd just constantly be like, "Hey, Dad, do this," and she'd be trying to catch up.
Yeah,
I'm kidding, but
she after about 4 months, and all these shows happen, and all these big interviews happen, and the channel was blowing up. She, I think they maybe started letting kids back at school and doing activities, and she was a cheerleader and everything else, and she didn't have the time. And I'm like, crap, I got to do this myself. So she taught me how to do it all. I'd constantly go up to her room and go, how do I move the thumbnail to here?
It's like, I created a monster. Like, this is.
And then I thought, okay, I'm going to need someone to help me. And I had a buddy's daughter reach out, and she was my first intern for a summer. Also went to Alabama. And then when she went back to school, I went to Northern because I went there, and I got to know the dean of the business school. And he said, why don't you hire someone from your alma mater? So I went there to interview 6 people. And during that process, the one kid who was the actual assistant to the dean, he sat there as people came in and someone canceled that day. And he goes, I already have a job this summer, but I've been watching it since the beginning. I'd love to do it. And when it came time to hire someone, they said, okay, all those interviews, which one you want? I go, I want Jake. And they're like, he didn't even interview. I go, I know, I want him. So as much as Kaylin loves it, Jake was with me longest for 2.5 years. But he's going for his master's program. He's already got a full-time gig lined up. So he's coming from Northern, and the drive is not great. And then Kaylin is friends with my daughter, my oldest daughter, and they've known each other since I think 5th or 6th grade, and reached out to me and said, hey, I'm coming home for the summer. I'm graduating in PR and digital marketing. Yep. So she goes, I'd love to work for you, blah, blah, blah. So I said, great. 5 minutes from my house, so she can whip over anytime. And it's been, I think, almost 2 years, right? Yeah. And Kaylin has full access to my channels, all of them, where she can post as me. She can go in, she deals with the partners, she deals with everything. So she's I'd love to have her full time. I don't have enough work for full time. And she just got her big girl job. So now she's doing this in her free time.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it, Kaylin. Good job.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So
it's cool.
it's you and her. That's that Cooking with Darryl.
And I do. So now that she has a job, I do all the filming that I do myself. So I film myself, but I don't do any editing. So if I mess up, I just leave it all in. Every file goes to her at night, And whenever she has time, she goes in and edits and puts the video together,
She'll
and
take care of
it's in a folder. Yeah.
That's cool.
So the cool thing is I'm still just videoing, but not doing all the stuff that actually takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife will help out too with filming. My daughter will too. If I got a brand sponsorship and they want certain angles on stuff that's hard for me to do by myself, my wife will help out or my daughter will help out.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like they're the editors, they're the real MVPs. This my guy Lance.
Oh yeah.
He's like we're done recording, and then he's the one who's got to stay after and get everything together. So
yeah, I mean some of it, a video takes 20 minutes maybe, but sometimes I do a bunch of clips, which I think is easier. Maybe not. Maybe you'll tell. Yeah, because I could do 20 minutes, and then you got to go and cut the whole thing up, and that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I do 30 to 40, 3 to 8 second clips. And then it's just really easy to just get to the content and then put it all together.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's kind of cool.
That is cool. Hey guys, big game Sunday, and that's a big one for the DraftKings Sportsbook. So this ain't the little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is the Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Also, it goes without saying, all the prop ups will be posted up there.
You got anything you like?
Not yet. I haven't looked yet, to be completely honest. I always bet the coin toss.
Yeah, I got to.
So that's a no-brainer. I always bet tails, so I know I like that.
So you're undefeated?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
tails.
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DOGWALK. That's code DOGWALK for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Let's do some cooking-specific questions.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're going to say here, but it's your last cook. Gas, charcoal, or skillet?
Oh, griddle.
Griddle.
Oh, griddle.
Yeah.
Griddles. Oh, yeah.
All right, take that out. Gas or charcoal?
Charcoal.
Yeah.
For sure.
I figured you were going to say that.
Yeah. I don't even have a gas grill.
Really?
I have not owned one in 6 years, if that.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm getting one. I'm going to get the new Weber Summit because it's got a lot more than just a gas grill. It's got the infrared sear.
Up top, yeah.
Top
I saw that. Yeah, they sent me the, is it the one, what's the one below that? You might have just said it earlier.
The searwood?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I have one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, I am getting one of those, but that'll be the first gas grill I've had in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're just, every single time you're burning those charcoals.
It's the charcoal or it's the griddle.
So you swear.
Or pizza oven.
Oh, okay.
That's huge.
That's big.
And everyone thinks pizza oven means you're making pizza. No way.
No?
No.
What's your favorite thing to cook in there?
The best steak I've ever had is in a pizza oven.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That thing gets up to 1,000 degrees. So the searing, I've got some videos that are just hilarious that I do with my buddies. And we get that thing cooking at 1,000. You throw a cast iron in there for 10, 15 minutes and let it just get rip roaring. You throw a steak that's got the bacon grease, as a binder. 4 or 5 minutes, it's done. And it's like Ruth Chris perfect.
Wow.
Crisp, not burnt. So you got the great char on both sides. And the middle is just ridiculous.
Do you always cook your steaks like that now?
I try to. I mean, some of this weather is tough to get out there and cook in a pizza oven. And you got to get it going. I mean, I have a wood fire one, and then I've got one that's hybrid. So it's gas and wood, and I only use it for gas just to kind of show the difference. And to get that wood one going right, it's 45 minutes prep.
Okay.
So sometimes I just don't have that time.
You're just not.
I don't want
about it.
Yeah. If I'm sitting outside, it's a beautiful day, and it's 4 o'clock, and I know we're going to be cooking steaks. Yeah, I'll get it going, watch some sports, and then it's ready to go. Mm-hmm. But the pizza oven is a phenomenal cooking device for more than just pizza.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It gets really hot in there. Kaylin shook her head.
Oh, yeah.
It's also got to be a big perk of the job, too, like when you are filming.
Well, so the funniest thing, she came over day one, and she goes, I don't eat meat. I'm like, get the hell out.
Oh, man.
But she eats meat now.
Okay,
yes.
You do now.
Oh,
all
yeah.
right, good.
She just said she didn't have good steak. So there was the difference.
Let me
It's a big
tell you,
difference, right?
It is huge. Like, listen, I love my mom, but
What we grew up on.
I ate so many well done steaks.
Oh, yeah. Chewy, chew
Yes.
forever.
And I just didn't like steak
Yeah.
until I finally went to a decent steakhouse, and I was like, whoa, this is good.
I'm with you.
So I hear that more and more that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like people's like,
Listen, I'll tell you now. I mean, I love going to great steakhouses. I rarely get a steak at a steakhouse.
no,
because something comes wrong. Either the flavor's not there. It's I'm a simple medium. I know everyone says medium rare, and I'll err on medium rare instead of medium well for sure. But I get this thing and it's blue, or it's well, and you're spending $50, $60, $70 for a steak. I want it to be perfect.
yeah,
I don't want to eat everything on there. So there are certain places that I know that I go to that it's 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I will get it every time. But there's others that it's kind of a flip of a coin. So I might get my fish that night, or chicken or pasta or something different, just because I know when I cook it, and this is not a, attaboy, I'm 97.5%. It's going to be exactly the way I want it. My family likes it, and I just love it.
yeah, and you're just cooking for a lot less people.
Yeah.
I think like those people, they got at some point you're,
And I think people are afraid, like these chefs are afraid to use a temp probe.
yeah,
I mean, they're like, no, I don't know. I'm going to do this. My hand. Come on.
just use the equipment.
Just use the equipment.
Use the equipment.
It's there.
What's the most common mistake you see in a restaurant steak? Is it just not being done enough?
I think it's actually rare, too rare.
It's too rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you.
Yeah, I think they don't want to mess it up. They bring it out. It's too rare. The thing's jiggling as you cut it. And then you send it back and you don't know what you're getting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not there's certain places I go to that I know I'm going to get a great steak.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And that's what I err on.
Speaking of steaks, we've had a big debate in here amongst our crew. The filet.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a girl steak?
Oh, it's all my wife and kids eat, or my daughter, not my son.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So is it kind of a girly steak?
Yeah, it's there's no flavor. I mean, I can salt the hell out of it. I can put the seasonings. I can do a compound butter. I can baste it. Listen, I'll never say it's bad.
Yeah, because it's good.
But if you're going to throw a ribeye, a New York, a strip, or skirt steak, or a filet, the last one I'm choosing is a filet.
Fair. And I was a filet guy for a long time, and then I finally started to see the light just because I didn't like.
You became a big boy.
I did. I grew up,
Right.
exactly. I took off the training wheels.
Exactly.
But I was like,
what's your favorite now? If you had to pick one, you go to a restaurant, you go to Mastro's, you go to, Morton's, whatever. What are you getting?
I think right now, and I haven't. So I basically, like, my whole adult life, I was a filet guy. So probably up until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty much getting ribeyes for the most part now.
Got to.
Is that the best one? Would you say?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's the most flavorful.
Like, there's no argument for porterhouse. There's no argument for shrimp.
No, because a porterhouse is, you still got the filet here. I don't know, conflicted with the porterhouse.
Yeah.
Because which one do I want to get filled up on? The filet part or the strip part?
Mm-hmm.
I love a strip, but I got to say, someone just asked me this question not too long ago. My trending favorite now is a skirt. You get a good skirt steak.
Agree.
Oh my God.
I agree with that
It's
a lot.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it really is awesome.
Yeah, you love that marbling and the little fat in there where it's not, no gristle, but that's where the taste comes.
Because that's what turned me off from ribeye for so long was I just didn't like the fat.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't really like prime rib because
I'm not a huge prime rib.
No,
I haven't gotten prime rib forever.
yeah, you just get like
big old hunk of.
Yeah, it just grosses me out. I got a buddy who just gnaw onto the fat. Like it makes
squishy
it makes my stomach turn, Darryl.
But if you get a good ribeye and you get that outer spinalis, the cap, which is my favorite, right? Not the eye of the ribeye, the cap, where all that marbling is, and you get even some fat that rolls through there. I mean, it just melts in your mouth.
Are you kidding me? That's what it is. That's what it is. What's the most common grilling mistake that you see people make?
Grill too hot. Too high, too hot. I don't care if it's a griddle or a grill. And there's times you need it hot, right? A searing or whatever, but grill too hot is the biggest thing I see where it's like, dude, man, you just roasted that thing.
Yeah. No, it reminds me of our guy. We have a guy who does cooking stuff too, and he had the grill at like 700 degrees.
And you could do that.
Yeah. But he opened it up and his ribs were just absolutely black.
Oh yeah. So when I do lamb chops, so my son and I are the only ones in the house that like lollipop lamb chops. Love them. And you get them, they're about, what is it, half inch, if that, thick, 3 minutes. And I have that thing at 700. I mean, the flames are coming through the top. That's how I want it. I throw them all on, set a timer, minute and a half, clockwork, flip them off, tent them, and they're perfectly rare on the inside. Not bloody rare, red throughout. And they're just delicious. Now, not burnt.
Now, you said you never went to the school or anything. Was this just trial and error?
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Here's the other thing. Most, if not all of my buddies that I hang with, all cook. So, we got the food porn pictures going around. Everyone's sharing everything.
Yeah.
And, be like, look what I just made. Check this out. Or they'll stop by my neighbor across the street. I call him my sous chef. He's retired. Great cook. He'll come over with, look what I just made. And I'll be like, I need that recipe.
So all the guys cook in your grill?
Oh, yeah.
So is it a battle when it's like a boys golf trip? It's like, who's cooking? It's like, no, this is my grill. Is there an alpha?
No.
Oh, Galen says you're the alpha.
Oh, yeah. No, it's because they all know they're not cooking.
Yeah. That's what we had. We're friends with Joe Flam, the chef who owns Rosemary and a bunch of other places here. And I was like, do you ever like go on a bachelor party and just like, man, I don't want to cook right now? And he's like, nah, it's like, I know what I'm doing. So I'll hop in. I don't mind. Is that the same for you? Or are you like,
I love kind of taking control and doing it.
Okay.
But there are times I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it.
Yeah. But then you said most of your friends could cook, but if someone manned the grill and you get some shitty burgers or something, aren't you?
You get hockey pucks.
Yeah.
That's not good.
I should have just done it.
Exactly. Well, that's what happens. I'll see them cooking. I'm like, oh, that thing's too high. It's too hot. You going to flip those? And that's what I'm saying to myself. So I'm like, all right, move.
The inner dialogue of Darryl.
Exactly.
That's awesome. What is the most underutilized summer cookout food?
Underutilized.
Because everyone does the dogs, the burgers, sausage.
Yeah, like an Italian sausage, not just on a bun. I mean, I have something in my cookbook. We call it the Eugene Special because my father-in-law, who passed away well before I married my wife, but I've known him my whole life because she went to St. Francis Borgia too.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I remember going to their house because I hung with her brother growing up, and she's younger than me. So me and her brother were best friends. That's how I got to know her. And his name was Eugene, and he would make these Italian sausage sandwiches where he'd take the casing off, smash them, little pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese, throw it on a bun. I mean, simple, yet different. So it was almost like a cheesy sausage, right?
Yeah.
Throw some hot jardinere on there. That I love making in the summer, and it's just different than a normal brat dog rolling them on a grill, burgers. It's a great question because
you just see kind of like the standard, like maybe
I'm dealing with this because I do 5 to 6 tailgates a year. It's kind of become my thing. I'll go to 5 campuses or a pro game and I tailgate. Weber supports me, everyone supports me, send grills, the whole thing. And I'm doing the same shit every time. And I got to find new stuff. So when we went to Alabama, actually with Kaylin, because she was a senior there and her boyfriend was in a fraternity that we did the whole cook at, we did a full 8-foot table of nachos.
Oh, let's go.
So he kind of laid out
just like the chips and everything?
Yeah, everything on the table, cooked a massive amount of meat, seasoned it, laid it, did all the cheese on top and the olives and the onions and tomatoes and jalapenos, and people just came by with their little cardboard thing and filled up a bowl, and that was kind of cool.
It was
cool. Different.
And there was no asshole frat kid who did like a slip and slide in the
No, and we did have the big can of cheese that we heated up to just pour all over everything. So that was kind of cool and different. But you're right. I mean, there's so many things that, how do you switch up a tailgate or a backyard barbecue with different food? I'll tell you another one that's become pretty popular is I'll do a pork shoulder, and I'll do it the night before, 1 or 2 of them, bring them out and just literally break them up on the griddle and make tacos. So that becomes a pretty cool thing where people just pick them up by their hand. I'll make them, throw them in a big foil pan. The meat's already done. So all you're really doing is kind of throwing some onion, some cilantro, grilling up the taco or the tortillas a little bit. And then you got tacos.
You're good to go.
Yeah, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Make a nice tomateo sauce or some salsa, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm not like asking for the world of barbecue cookouts to be reinvented, but I feel like there are like new things that you could try, you know?
No, I agree. And it's the hardest thing I think of.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. I mean, you do chili, but all you're doing is really heating up a pot that you already made.
Uh-huh.
So
it's tough to...
It's tough. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm thinking about now is, I'm going to have 5 or 6 of these coming up. I'm going to do a couple with Roback. I'm going to do a couple with some other partners.
Cool.
And I've just met people through this whole thing. It was like, I'm on the board at Notre Dame. I'm on the board at Penn State. Can you come to a game? Sure. So that's what I'm doing for next year.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's always fun going to the college campus.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. You just see like some drunk kid who just needs, hey, get some food in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're going to need it. Like, you'll thank me later.
Exactly.
I was going to say most utilized tool, but it sounds like the thermometer, or unless if there's something else you can
underutilized?
Yeah.
Oh,
underutilized.
Yeah, for sure. I've got one at, I think, each of my cooking stations. So I got my covered patio that has grills and pizza ovens. I've got my outside area that's got the griddle. And then inside, I got every single station has a thermometer.
All right. You're not timing it up by hand.
No, I mean, some things like I can sit there and, I get all my steaks from my guy Mino, who's local here. And all his steaks are the same, pretty much size, right? Call it the Costco cuts, right?
Yeah.
Pretty nice, thick cuts. I kind of know it's going to be 8 to 10 minutes every time. So I at least have that down, and then I'll start checking to make sure. Because, if it's really cold out, or if it's really warm out, or if, the fire is a little out of control or whatever, 8 to 10 minutes is like the standard, and then I check it.
And then what's your most, what do you dislike about cooking for people the most?
I don't get to hang and drink with them and enjoy it and hang out. I have severe FOMO, Eddie.
Do you?
Severe FOMO. So when everyone's doing all this stuff and I'm cooking, it's cool.
Yeah.
And we get to eat it, but I'm missing the game or I'm missing hanging out or whatever.
'Cause you're a big Lake Geneva guy too, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got rid of my boat after 8 years, but I still might be up there.
Okay.
But yeah, I like going to Lake Geneva.
Yeah, so you're right. You just missed the game. They're all
miss
arguing
everything.
about if they should have ran the ball or throw the ball. And
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
like, I don't know.
I don't know.
The temperature was at the right point. I can tell you guys that.
And I want to film. So, some of those are my best videos when I'm hanging with my buddies.
Oh yeah.
And they're all acting like idiots and again, all unscripted, right? We just start filming, and there's some of my best performing videos are when I'm just hanging with the guys and, doing that. But yet I got to make sure everything comes out all right, or else it'll be an epic fail.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing. It was like initially they cared about what you were cooking, but now they care about you, right? The people who are watching,
Yeah.
Like same thing. Initially they cared about what I said about the Bears. Now it's like, hey, what's going on with your drywall? It's
Exactly.
Always something different.
And that's why I'm not starting to change it up, but I'm really trying to get other content, right? So I've been fortunate enough to, hang with some of the Northern Illinois football players, still talking to them. One's going pro next year, and he's at camps right now. Dalton Reisner from the Vikings, went out to lunch with him and his wife, went to a game on the field. I mean, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
We're still talking. He's friends with Jordan Wicks from the Cubs, so he's texting me about coming to a game. So those are the cool things I want to kind of reach out and do. So call it lifestyle stuff. It might involve cooking, it might not, but it's just other stuff, right, than just everyday cooking.
Yeah.
And some of those, I had my college buddy throw a new mailbox in for me. It did over 1 million views.
Yes, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Some of the stuff that you're like, why do people care about this?
Exactly. Exactly. I deep fried a turkey in bacon grease. It did great. But then we posted a video of deep frying, what was it? There's those potato rounds, like tater tots.
Yeah.
I literally threw in tater tot. It's over 1 million for tater tots.
How? Yeah.
So
do your kids ever give you shit? It's like, Dad, like stop looking at your view count. Like what's like
Yeah.
Like, you've become the teenager in a sense.
Well, so I wish my kids wanted to be in more videos. Like, because when I used to get them in, they always seem to do better.
Yeah.
And I like when they're in. I think it's fun. They got me started, right? I got to pull teeth to get them in a video.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's unfortunate. I get it. Right. 2 are 23, 117. I didn't do my hair. I didn't shower. I'm going to the club. I'm, all this excuses.
Yep.
So I get it. And my wife, I would say the only thing she says, which is so valid, is, can we just eat dinner? Can we just eat? Because it's like, I can't have the music going because there's rights to the music, right? If it's not on there. I don't want the TV going in the background.
Yep.
So it's like, everyone be quiet. Everyone do this. And she's like, can we? And it always takes a little longer, right?
Yeah.
To kind of eat. So if dinner's prep and everything takes 30 minutes, it's 45 to an hour.
Yeah.
And she knows it.
Yeah.
She's like, how long till we eat? I go 30. She goes, are you filming? She goes, I'll be down in an hour.
Yeah. she's got it all down.
So that's the only thing. And I get that because it is, there's a tax there, right? And it's a time tax. And that's what I think a lot of the people that follow me that, you're a sellout, you do too many promotions, they don't quite understand the grocery shopping, the time away from the family, the time away from this, going to a tailgate. Some of them I'm flying there, I'm gone weekends. This is now a business. This is my job.
For sure. And sometimes, while the colleges are fun, sometimes you're like, I just don't know. I don't want to go this weekend.
When we went to Alabama, I mean, that might have been the craziest because we were there 3 nights, I think. If I took 250 selfies, that might have been low. Mm-hmm. I didn't even sit down. It was crazy.
It's a lot, your social battery, man.
It was just non-stop. And some of those, I just want to go to a bar and have fun with my buddies.
Yep.
And you can't. Hey, can I take? And I'm not going to be the guy. No,
you can't be.
I'm not.
Yeah.
That's just not me, right?
Yep.
So to me, I'm like, yeah. And then it just keeps all night.
Yep.
And I'm tired. I actually get tired.
Yeah, your social battery's drained.
So,
yeah, I understand.
But I guess it's part of the gig.
Part of the gig. We got to do a Northwest Side thing.
Oh, yeah.
We should do something at Borgia. That'd be fun.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great. We still know a lot of people from there. So.
Yeah, same. My mom was volunteering at school still up until like a year ago.
Yeah. My mom was, years ago, did a ton of the stuff, but I think some of the teachers are still there.
They are. Did you have Danella?
Of course.
Football coach.
Yeah. I coached there for 3 or 4 years after I graduated.
No shit.
College. Yeah. I went back with Vince and I coached the younger kids. Vince had the varsity. So yeah, I knew his kids.
What year was that?
So I graduated college in 87. So probably 87 to 91, I coached at Hiawatha, or the Borgia team at Hiawatha.
Yeah, we won the championship our 8th grade year.
Awesome.
And we had our 20-year anniversary with Coach Danella and everyone was there.
Yeah, Mr. Sherwin. I think he's
Sherwin,
still there, right?
He was there, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yep. It was awesome.
So there's so many of those teachers that I'm glad they're still there.
Yeah.
Oh, if I saw them, I for sure go have a beer with them.
Yeah, we should do something there. That'd be fun.
That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
That old neighborhood is still a good place.
Yeah,
right?
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. Well, Darryl, this was fun, man. I'm excited.
I
Now we're
appreciate
gonna
having me.
we're gonna go make a smash burger. We're filming a video. We don't know when it's dropping, but we'll let you guys know.
Awesome.
To be a competition, so that should be interesting because all we do is fight.
That's good.
But yeah, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate
And then if people want to go find your content, where can they go?
So TikTok, it's Cooking with Darryl. Instagram, it's Cooking with _Darryl.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Darryl, you're the man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, that's it, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.